You guys are in Oregon. The Pacific Northwest is a little different than other parts of the country. Can you speak to that and some of the challenges you guys have from a heating and air standpoint and all the challenges that you guys have?
Our climate can be kind of all over the place. I mean, one year we'll have 117 degrees in the summer and an ice storm in the winter. And then the next year we range from basically 40 degrees to 80 degrees the entire year. And so that can be a little bit of a challenge too.
One of the great things about here is that we are definitely a heat pump territory, heat pump area. Educating people on heat pumps at first was very difficult, but now people have caught on that, hey, wow, heat pumps are the way to go. When I first started in this industry in the 80s, a heat pump was terrible. You would get cold air coming out. If you got 78 degree air, that was pretty good. And everybody felt cold and complained about heat pumps, but they've evolved so much now that heat pumps, they're really in this market, they're really the wave of the future. Especially we do a lot with the modulating and the variable speed and all that. Inverter technology. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. We do a lot with the inverter technology, and that really helps the electric grid because we're not hammering the electric grid so hard. Everything comes on so nice and soft. So there's quite a few incentives that are here. They're really, really trying to help out everybody get into the heat pumps and into higher efficiencies. It saves money for the homeowner.
Do you have any success stories you can share on that front? Because I'm in the same boat. So with my company, we were, I believe, one of the only companies in this area that offered, it's much less sell it, but offered inverter equipment. Do you have any success stories you guys can share on customers that they went with a higher end system and I don't know, the savings or some other success story like that?
Quite frankly, we hear it all the time. Like I used to carry screenshots of text messages between me and some of my other customers if I was talking to a client when I was still doing sales in the home. Because like, for example, we had a couple that moved up here from California and they just had like a 2-stage piece of equipment in their home there. And when they moved up here, that's kind of what they were leaning towards. And we spent a lot of time going through the differences between that and like true inverter or variable speed. And they did end up going with the true inverter, or what we call it, a smart system here.
Right.
So they ended up going with the smart system. And I got a text a week later and they just said, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to really go through all that with us. We had no idea we could be so comfortable in our own home. And then you've got the stories of the people whose electrical use has been drastically reduced. You know, you have someone who's on a fixed income and they've got, I think it's called equal pay for their power company. So they amortize out, or they average out what the monthly cost would be so that you're paying an even amount on your electric bill every month. Hers was cut in half after going with an inverter system or a smart system. I would say like people definitely notice the savings. We hear a lot of positive feedback on the comfort side. And that's actually what we talk about a lot with our customers when we're explaining the differences. I mean, obviously, you should see a reduction in your energy use, which equals a savings on your utility bills. But more than anything, we find that people are just significantly more comfortable. And we sell a lot of it. I mean, when it comes to like the fit systems or the fit related products, our mix has got to be somewhere in the 40 to 50% range. We do our best to position the price points of those as competitively as possible. And I think if you were to look at someone else who's offering the inverter in a similar market or in the state of Oregon, we're probably a little less expensive than they are. It's because we just get such good feedback from our customers that I actually have an exact story. I was just talking with our service manager today, and we had a customer that came in. He was all upset. I won't name the model, but it was another heat pump. It just was never quite working right. He was never quite happy with it. He appreciated us, but he eventually came back in demanding a full refund. You know, he wanted us to cut him a $22,000 check. And Zach talked to them for an hour, hour and a half, mostly just hanging out, getting to know the guy, then ended up giving him a tour of our facilities, the office, the training center, all that kind of stuff, and just kind of rebuilt the rapport with that customer. And finally, he was like, look, you know what? I really do love you guys. I don't want to put in the position of just having to do a full refund. He's like, I'll give you one last chance. He's like, but I want that one. And he pointed to the fit system. So we ended up putting that in, and he just heard back from the guy. The guy was like, you guys are the best company I've ever worked with. Number one, most companies don't do business like that anymore. And he's like, number two, this system is amazing. So yeah, I mean, I could go on for days about positive feedback on it.
And we always give the choice, and we allow the customer to choose what they want. Most of them will choose the fit, but evidently this customer did not choose the fit, but we wanted to make sure he was a happy customer, and we took care of that customer. And that's important. That's what really sets us apart and makes the difference. One is our culture, and then two is making sure that our customers are always taken care of. My biggest experience is my own house. So we had a high efficient gas furnace with a lower efficient air conditioner. I put in the modulating Daikin variable speed. It's incredible. My gas bill was almost cut in half just from going to the modulating, where it goes from 30% up to 100%. I don't think we ever get to 100%. I think we're always about that 50, 60% range on gas usage just from the furnace. And then we put the fit air conditioner in. The electric bill, the air conditioning bill, it got cut in half. But what I really noticed was the comfort level. We moved in the house 3.5 years ago. I was going to put in a zone system because I'm not comfortable. And then I'm looking at the return. Man, that return's too loud. I've got 3 of them, and one of them's just too close to where we sit to watch TV. And we put this system in. I don't have to do a zone system because it moves the air so much differently that it's constantly putting air where we need it. Does that make sense? So we're constantly moving heat and air conditioning to the rooms that we're not comfortable, just by the way it operates.
Just let me go ahead and get this on tape, because Daikin is one of the sponsors of our YouTube channel. I have to disclose that, right? The FTC says I have to say that. And they're going to see 2 guys, both of you guys, you both look fit, and they're going to say these guys are paid actors. Daikin has not paid you to say any of this. Is that correct?
That is correct.
No, but they sure could.
They could. Yeah, we would take a check.
That'd
be okay. Yeah. That'd be all right. We work with Daikin because of their culture. Their culture fits ours. And, when we went through COVID, there was a lot of struggles. There were a lot of times where there were some heated discussions, not arguments, just discussions. And, they came through every time. They came through for us every time. And I think there was 1 or 2 jobs that we had to move during that really difficult time of getting equipment, but they really came through for us. A plug for Daikin, just taking care of us, and really appreciated that.
Yeah, what I used to tell my customers when I was selling out in the field, and actually still do when I'm chatting with potential customers today, or chatting with people online on Facebook or what have you, it's like there are several good manufacturers out there, and if a lot of the specifications on the equipment are relatively similar, close enough to where it's like, okay, if you're buying one of the top 3 to 5 major brands, how big a difference is there? And I'm not saying there are no differences, because there are. However, we chose Daikin because if all things are being equal, the way that they treat us as their customer allows us to treat our customers the way that we want to treat them. If something is urgent to one of our customers, and I can make a phone call to somebody and they're going to take that same sense of urgency and pass it along to their team and make sure that we get what we need for our customer, to me, that's a great partner.
That's right.
Because they help us serve our customers better because of the way that they serve us.
And you said it just right. They're a partner. Mm-hmm. They're not a manufacturer. They're not just a supplier. They're not just getting us equipment. And we really feel like they're truly a partner. I wanted to touch base on something that you said about installers being afraid of it, afraid of the inverter technology, the technicians being afraid of it, the sales staff being afraid of it. And when we first started selling the inverter technology and we first started selling Daikin, I had the installers come to me and say, can we just go back to the easy stuff? Because it's so much easier to install. We don't have to worry about communicating. We don't have to worry about making sure that we've got the thermostat set up right. There's just a lot of things. And I said, hey, we're better than that. We are going to be on the front lines all the time. And guess what? Pretty soon, we're going to look back and there's going to be people trying to catch us. And they won't be able to, because we've already been doing this for a year. We know what we're doing, or 5 years, whatever it is. We know what we're doing. We've got it dialed in. We know that static pressure is an issue. So we have to stay the course, and we did. And now they don't want to go back. They love installing the Daikin equipment, the inverter equipment. They love the communicating systems, just because they understand it now. And there's a huge fear with anybody that walks into this industry and says, wow, what in the world did we just step into? And you can go to the thermostat and you can pretty much just look and see how everything's running, that's pretty amazing. If people buy the Fit system, the smart system, and they decide to, we can monitor their system and know when there's a problem from our office before they do. And we have a lot of folks that really like to do that. They like that monitoring system. We've called them and we've said, hey, you had a little issue. Your fan speed wasn't set up right. So we set it up for you right here from the office. We got that taken care of for you. And we didn't have to bother them. They didn't even know anything was wrong.
Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate your time. Do me a favor and just reintroduce yourselves in case someone's local to you and where you're located.
Brandon and Dan Summers, owners of Advantage Heating and Air Conditioning, mostly in the greater Salem, Oregon area. You can find us on social media. Most everything is under @Advantage Heating. I think Instagram is @Advantage Heating 92. We have a large enough following on most things that if you were to just type in Advantage Heating,
Salem, Oregon.
yep, look for the yellow circle with the green A. We're pretty easy to find.
And we do go up to the Portland area.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
AdvantageHeatingLLC.com.
and AdvantageHeatingLLC.com.